In 1944, Japan faced a problem it could no longer solve. Its navy was shattered. Its industry was overwhelmed. Its pilots were dying faster than they could be trained. What followed was not chaos, it was calculation. Kamikaze pilots were not irrational fanatics. They were the logical product of a system that had exhausted every reversible option. By 1944, Japan was losing the Pacific War in ways that could not be concealed. Its navy had been shattered. Its industrial capacity lagged far behind the United States. Fuel shortages grounded pilots. Replacement aircraft were inferior. Experienced airmen were dead. What remained was not ignorance of reality, but clarity about it. The Kamikaze program emerged at the moment when conventional strategy no longer produced meaningful results. The paradox is this: suicide attacks appeared when Japan became most rational about its position. Kamikaze, literally divine wind, were officially framed as spiritual weapons. Pilots were told they were shields for the nation, embodiments of loyalty, heirs to a warrior tradition. But ideology alone does not explain institutional behavior. What explains it is constraint. Modern war is a problem of production, logistics, and attrition. Japan could no longer win on those terms. It could not match American shipbuilding. It could not train pilots fast enough to replace losses. It could not defend its supply lines. Every conventional sortie burned fuel and aircraft that could not be replaced. Suicide attacks inverted that equation. A plane no longer had to return. A pilot no longer had to be preserved. Accuracy replaced endurance. This was not desperation masquerading as faith. It was optimization under scarcity. A kamikaze aircraft required minimal training. Takeoff mattered. Landing did not. The payload was the plane itself. Against heavily armored ships, even outdated aircraft became effective when converted into guided explosives. One successful impact could disable or sink a vessel that took months to build. From a purely material perspective, the exchange rate improved. This logic reached its peak with the Oka, a rocket-powered glider that was not a plane, but a cruise missile guided by a human. The pilot was bolted in. He became a biological component in a machine designed to die. This is where the logic hardens. In systems under extreme pressure, lives become variables. The Japanese command did not need pilots who would survive. It needed certainty. A conventional pilot might miss, retreat, or be intercepted. A kamikaze pilot removed uncertainty by removing choice at the final moment. The pilots knew this. Diaries and letters show that many were not consumed by hatred or religious ecstasy. They wrote about family, obligation, and duty. Some expressed fear, some expressed doubt. Very few expressed delusion. The decision was framed not as a desire to die, but as the only remaining way to be useful. This framing mattered. Suicide, in isolation, is destabilizing. It threatens morale and coherence. But ritualized, authorized self-destruction can be stabilizing. It converts individual death into collective signal. Kamikaze attacks communicated to both sides that Japan would continue fighting even when defeat was mathematically certain. The program also solved an internal problem. As defeat became inevitable, maintaining discipline grew harder. Kamikaze missions removed potentially disaffected young men from the rear while binding them symbolically to the state. Once selected, refusal was nearly impossible without dishonor. The system closed around the individual. Importantly, kamikaze were not Japan's first choice. They appeared late, when alternatives were exhausted. That timing matters. Suicide tactics are not signs of belief overpowering reason. They are signs that reason has narrowed to a single irreversible path. What makes the kamikaze paradox unsettling is that the system did exactly what it was designed to do. It extracted maximum remaining utility from limited resources. It delayed collapse. It demonstrated resolve. It did not win. After the war, kamikaze were remembered either as heroes or victims. Both interpretations missed the structure. They were neither mad nor free. They were participants in a system that had converted death into strategy. Kamikaze were not an abandonment of logic. They were logic, stripped of mercy, operating at the edge where survival and self-destruction become indistinguishable.